how do you program hypertrophy training for your athletes?
Hypertrophy training, go. Right? So we got a question that was really asking something about how long should you program hypertrophy training for a powerlifter? What place does this occupy in kind of the broader planning of training? And I think you can plan a hypertrophy block. So let me back up for a second and talk about what a hypertrophy block is in the context of emerging strategies. I would say that a hypertrophy block is a block of training that focuses more on volume, lower intensities. The stress is going to be still in that developmental stress range. The specificity of exercises might be the same as a normal development block, or it might be a little bit less. But the intent is something that's a little bit less specific from the perspective of intensity, so a little bit lower intensity and a little bit more reps, things like that. So if we think of that as a hypertrophy block, the goal is not really driving forward the progress of your powerlifting total. The goal is something else, hypertrophy, duh, right? Well, how would you use that? You can use it as a space filler. Say that you have an athlete that normally has a 6-week time to peak, but you're planning training for a competition and you've just kind of got this dangling 3-week period that doesn't really fit anywhere else. Well, you can put some hypertrophy in there, and as long as it's far enough away from the competition, you're still going to have plenty of development time, so you'll be fine. So you can use it as a space filler like that. You can also use it as a full-on development block, something more like an off-season. Say you've done a competition, you're ready to do something less specific, less heavy. So doing a hypertrophy block at those times also makes sense. And what you would want to do is probably extend that so that it's more full development cycle length. So 6-week time to peak, you may do a full 6-week of hypertrophy training. Now, don't think that if you're not doing a hypertrophy block that you're not seeing any hypertrophy. The whole notion of emerging strategies is that you're following this trail of athlete response and you're doing the thing that is driving the athlete's progress forward. So if you have an athlete that's, say, limited by hypertrophy, what you might find is that training that's traditionally hypertrophy training is actually making their estimated 1RMs go up. And if you're doing that, then hey, these are development blocks. It's not, throwaway hypertrophy training. This is actually driving forward estimated 1RMs, driving forward your total. And in those cases, I wouldn't even frame it like a hypertrophy block. I would frame it like a development. So that's kind of how I would use it. It can vary depending on the intent, just kind of how it fits into the bigger picture. But there you go.